said earlier, like with those guys that are on the practice squad, it's a great sign when the defensive coaches and the special teams coaches are both asking for the same guy to be called up, because that's a guy with the right makeup, doing it the right way, that plays great special teams, plays great fundamental defense. So being able to add that guy now to our roster is a huge plus for us, because he's versatile. He can play the run, he can play the pass. He's out there on special teams, and a guy with a ton of potential. You know, remember him coming out of college. It's like that length, that athleticism, that ability to play the run and the pass. Those don't come out of the sky. Like, those guys are rare. So to be able to get one of those guys in the building, it's a credit to our scouting department for finding that guy, getting that guy on our roster, and now we're looking forward to developing him.
Sorry if you've been asked this already,
right.
but could you see him taking on a bigger role on defense?
Yeah, I think with all these guys, with where we're at right now, like, those roles are earned, and I think he's done a good job of earning that role, and he'll keep building trust and keep earning more reps as we go. But for sure, he's a guy really in all situations. You're comfortable putting him out there, and it's just about building that comfort, building up the technique and fundamentals with that. And he's a guy you love having in the building long term.
Ask Jerry about this, and I'd be curious to get your take on this, that over the course of the year, really ever since the start of training camp, your pass rush now looks a lot differently, at least from a personnel perspective. Josh, Matt is gone, Christian is gone. How do you think the guys who've stayed have been in the lineup on a consistent basis? How do you think they've done over the course of the year?
Yeah, it's a great question. Those guys have really attacked the opportunity in front of them and really made the most of those opportunities. So whether it's guys inside or Jennings last week, I mean, we had 62 graded plays. He played 60 of them in the game, and that included third down. So those guys have made the most of those opportunities. And really, they're guys that we trust and guys that are really doing things the right way, that are earning those roles amongst everybody on our roster. So for those guys to be out there, being able to step up their game and really contribute on all downs for us is huge. And that's really what we're about, right? Develop these guys, get them better, not writing anybody off, not saying, hey, this guy's only this. Like, we have a vision for all these players to be better tomorrow than they are today. And if we keep going in with that mindset, we're going to like where we're at.
Drew, I apologize. I've been asked about him already, but I wanted to ask how you feel when you see Anthony Jennings aligned across from a tight end specifically, because it feels like he does pretty well in those situations.
Yeah, it's one of those things where he takes that as a challenge. If an offensive coordinator wants to scheme him one-on-one, whether it's run game or pass rush against a tight end, he sees that as a sign of, okay, it's time to go. It's time to prove this offensive coordinator and this guy who thought he could draw that X on that O and take care of it, he's not going to be able to take care of it with him. And you talk to these offensive coaches around the league, either after we play, like, the one guy you hear about over and over from these guys is, this guy plays the right way, he's a problem to go against, is Anthony Jennings, because of how physical he is, how good his hand placement and feet are, and his eyes in the run game. Like, this is a guy that you don't want to run to his side, and you see teams start doing that and trying to run away from him because of the plays he can make when they run to him. Pullers come at him, and he's disrupting the whole play, causing a 10-car pileup over there. Like, this is a guy that plays football the right way. We're fired up that he's out there.
Guys, two more. Seems like he always plays through the whistle too. Is that something that you see show up too?
Yeah, he's got an edge to him, and we tell those guys, like, play through the echo of the whistle. So, like, we want guys finishing every play in a dominant position, and it's easy to get the rest of the crew to do that when our leader and really one of our guys that are out there the most are doing that play in and play out and not letting up. And every play you see them locked out, finishing through the echo of the whistle in a way that sets the tone for the rest of the team.
Probably, I know they're a little bit different in terms of maybe their physical traits, but for a younger guy like Keon or any of the young guys that you're coaching, how valuable is it to have somebody like that that you can show on tape doing some of the things that you're talking about?
Yeah, you love guys, and we'll talk about it like Monday. We're watching tape with these guys. Like, this is a clinic rep. This is a teach tape rep that we'll be sitting here next spring when we want to talk about that technique. This play was the one that exemplifies that. So, and particularly when it's run at him and he's at the point of attack, whether it's a tight end, a tackle, a puller, a flashing tight end, like, when he is at the point of contact, you're going to get some teach tape reps from him because he's physical, throws his body in there, and really, like, for the rest of the room to see that this guy plays with that kind of abandon and that kind of toughness, that goes a long way because if he can do it, everybody else can.
I know we gotta let you go. Is there a play that stands out to you from this past game that would be one of those like clinic reps?
Yeah, I would say there's a puller coming at him. He's on
Yeah.
the left side. I don't know the play number, but they run like counter, and he takes the guy out, and it really just causes the same. This was one of those 10-car pileups.
Yeah.
And then there's nowhere to go for that ball, so it ends up being a 1-yard gain. And,
Offensive lineman pulling.
yeah, offensive
Oh, wow.
lineman
Okay.
pulling,
Not
and he
tight
goes
end.
and
Yeah.
takes him out there. I'd say that's one where it's like, that's easy to talk about for me in
Yeah.
an air-conditioned room.
Right.
All right, but for a guy on the field to go do that, like, that takes real toughness and real grit, and that's what he exemplifies.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Drew.
All right,
Appreciate
good
it, man.
seeing you.
Always
Yeah.
good to talk to you.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Have a good
All right,
rest of the week,
appreciate you
okay?
guys. Have a good one.
I wanted to ask, what are you seeing on film from Calvin Ridley?
Yeah, he's a really good football player. So look, his line of scrimmage, his tempo at the top of the route. If you really watch him, his ability to change speed in the routes when he's not always like the first read, and sometimes when he is the first read too, he's extremely explosive. And he's a really, really good football player. And they're lucky to have him over there in Tennessee. He's phenomenal.
Based on what we've seen the first 8 weeks of the season, it's Gonzo going up against their top receiver. So I'm guessing that'll probably be the matchup this weekend. What do you think about that matchup and Gonzo's ability to guard?
Yeah, we don't know if Gonzo's going to do that, right? Because we're not just going to give away our game
Well, of
plan to
course.
everybody else. He's always willing to do whatever's best for the team. But yeah, no, Gonzo, he's locked in. If he's got to cover him, everybody else in the room is as well. So we know it's a tough task, but we love tough tasks, right? That's what you get paid to do at corner, and excited for the opportunity.
Obviously, a cornerback's not going to be perfect every week, but it did seem like Christian was able to bounce back pretty good last week against the Jets. What allowed him to do that?
Yeah, I mean, look, each week, new receivers, top guys in the league. Everybody's good. Every team has a guy. It's tough to be perfect throughout the year. Like, it is what it is at corner. Just that mental toughness, the resilience to keep going. Look, understanding that we're going to give up a play here and there. Like, that's going to happen. And you can't overreact. It's that next play mentality that we've been talking about since the spring. What are you going to do? How are you going to respond when adversity hits you?
Could you speak, since he doesn't speak, could you speak on behalf of Christian? Just what
He
makes him-
speaks. You hear the mic up?
what makes him such a great player?
Yeah, no. So I've talked about this in previous interviews, and I'll say it again. He's got that dog mentality of not going to let this guy win, right? He wants to be great, and he does all the extra things to be great. I'm very impressed with his work ethic. He'll take extra reps, he'll take scout team reps, anything that has to do with football. He's locked in. And he's very good in the classroom. Very good at his film study on his own. That is unique at corner.
You had a line on the mic up.
Yeah. I didn't.
Special there.
Did I curse?
No. It
Okay,
was,
good.
No, it was, I want to ask you about that moment because you sort of mentioned to him on the sideline, hey, they're coming to their one-on-one on the backside here. Like, it's coming. It's going to happen. What makes you feel that way in that moment? And then how satisfying is it to see it play out and see him react the way he did? This is when he broke up the pass at the goal line there.
Yeah. So I mean, you just kind of feel it within the game. He hadn't really touched the ball much. Those guys get a little antsy when they don't touch the ball. Then they kind of force it in there to him. Not force it in there to him. Like, if I was Aaron, that looks like a good opportunity right there, one-on-one on the backside versus throwing into a loaded box. Our guy came up with the play, so I was super proud of him there. It's more of a feel that, it's getting antsy over there.
What did he do well on that, technique-wise?
Yeah, so I think, look, Devontae Adams is a great player. I want to make that very clear. He's a great player. I think maybe Gonzo playing firm at the line kind of surprised him a little bit, and then was able to transition underneath the route at the top when Aaron tried to put the ball in away from his body there. Trapped the left arm, came through on the right through the pocket. That was great.
I think on that note, after that play, I think you were showing it to the corners and saying, this is New England Patriots football. What about that play was Patriots football?
It was that play, but it was the other play where Marcus kind of came off. It was just playing team defense. I was really stressing that more. It's just the concept of team defense, not beating ourselves, doing what we do, and just making them make tough throws and tough catches, and that's what we do here in New England. It's in the secondary.
Have you always done this with fans before games, or is this a new thing for you where you're
Oh, the
communicating
balls?
with them a little bit?
Yeah, I kind of just throw it, and then, I just figured it'd be cooler to ask them what their name was, and,
Any impetus?
Well,
from-
the number one thing is make sure the kids tell their parents thank you.
I heard you say
Yeah,
that.
that's the number one thing. I got to get that message across.
And anything that made you start doing that? I mean, just
I
like
kind of
teaching-
started on the side over there, like where we warm up the DBs, and then
Yeah.
just kind of, there's a lot of downtime. So instead of like stressing about the game, I'm just going to go throw the ball around a little bit because, I'm not going to lie, I can overthink some things. So just get me, if you just see me in the game, I'm pacing. So, a little bit of ADD there, if you will.
You mentioned Christian in the
previous life. Were you a quarterback in a previous life?
Quarterback? No, I'm just very good at throwing the ball now. I was very bad. Ask Flores, Brian Flores. I was very bad at throwing the ball when I first got here. And I asked him one day, hey, can I throw the ball? And he was like, nah, man, you can't. So I was like, all right, I need to work on this.
How'd you
Who taught?
improve? Just
Yeah.
work?
Yeah, so no, yeah, just consistent. I mean, you throw a ton of balls every single day. So eventually you got to get better and just not do the same thing over and over again. Yeah.
You mentioned Christian in the classroom.
Yeah.
What makes him good in the classroom?
So I kind of talked about this in the spring. I'll talk about it again, but the focus on being obsessed with the receivers you're going against, right? That's super important. What's he doing at the line of scrimmage? What's he doing at the top of the route? What's his, mannerisms at the top? Is he speeding up, slowing down? Is his body raising up, body going down? I can tell him these things, but you're proud as a coach when they can tell you those things, right? And I always tell them, like, you should know the receivers better than I do because you should be obsessed and studying them because I got to look at them. I got to look at the scheme. I got to look at, if they do this, then we do that. So that's kind of like at that next level of being a corner, right? Knowing what to do, knowing how to do it, but knowing how your opponent's trying to attack you.
Mike, how much value does Jonathan Jones bring to your room as just like a lead by example kind of guy, somebody for younger guys to look at and know, okay, that's probably the right way to do things?
Yeah, that's my guy right there. John Jones, smart, tough, dependable, been doing it for years. John could theoretically not practice, and then I expect him to go out there and do his job and do it to the best of his ability and be 99% right on what he's doing. He's just been doing it for a long time and, one of the toughest guys I've ever coached. So that's kind of John to me, smart, tough, dependable, and, just the rock, the reliability.
What are you going as for Halloween?
Uh,
Cornerbacks coach?
I'm going as a cornerbacks coach who's going to be in the office drawing cards. That's it. Yeah, that's a good
It's
one.
a good one.
Yeah.
I know
So
I go as a reporter
I'm an
every-
artist. I'm an artist.
I go
There
as a
we go.
reporter every year, so
Yeah, there you go.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Mike, did you use Marcus Jones a little bit more in this game outside?
Yep.
How has he developed a little bit of versatility for you?
Yeah. So Marcus, he's ready to go outside. Again, we're all DBs, so I expect him to be able to play multiple spots. And whether you don't see it on game day, he does rep the perimeter stuff. And just because we have done a decent bit of matching, so if your match is outside, you need to be able to go play outside. So he's developing from that aspect. I think he's got really good ball skills too. So playing on the perimeter, despite his size, is actually
Also needing Jonathan a little bit on the back end, sort of needing to switch it up a little bit with Marcus too.
Yeah, I just thought Marcus was locked in, ready to go, and Garrett Wilson is a tremendous football player, and he was contested at least on each catch that he made. And I told Garrett after the game, he's a phenomenal football player, and I told him that before the first game, and I'll probably tell him that every year now. He's a really good football player, and just trying to make it contested on him, even though he's got great hands.
Alex Austin returned to practice this week. His window is open.
Let's go.
If he can play on Sunday, what does that bring to your room?
Physicality, tackling, he does those two things really well. Alex, really good. Happy with him in the spring. All right, training camp, unfortunate with the ankle injury, but if he's available, you got to knock some rust off. So I would never put these guys in positions that they're not capable of handling. So if he's ready and he's up and the availability is there to play, we'll probably see him out on the football field. I'm also not going to force a guy into a bad spot.
How do you look out there yesterday?
2 more guys?
Look good. Still got there's a couple of finer coaching points that you miss throughout the week because, you got to keep changing things as it goes on, be like, hey, Alex, this game, we were doing this a little bit different. Hey, this game, we were doing this a little bit different. He's been in the classroom, but now he's just got to, get the rep at it, which is, just like learning. Everybody, if everybody can just learn it once, right, we'd have a whole lot less problems in this world, a whole lot less. But yeah, so.
How about the skills of a punt returner? Does it translate at all to what Marcus does and vice versa?
Yeah, great ball skills and great running after a catch. We got to get him to pick a ball so he can go. It's basically a punt return.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm super fired up every time he's back there. We try to get the corners up to watch him, if they're not too tired, right, to cheer him on. And the guys that are on the field, we got to block for our guy back there and, get him to the house and help him celebrate in the end zone.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thanks, like a coach. Obviously, he is a coach, but smart guy, understands football, does a good job of getting his guys to understand football. So I think he's doing a good job. Obviously, each day, as is for me, there's you learn something new every day. So I'm sure he's in that process also.
One of the things that Devon said after the game, we asked him what the difference was between Sunday's performance against the Jets and maybe a couple weeks before that. He said, we just cut out all the cute shit. I'm curious to get your take as to what that means from your perspective.
Yeah, well, it doesn't really matter what I think that means. I know that when you play better technique and fundamentals and you do your job, you play better. So, at the end of the day, we played better defense, we played better offense, we played better special teams, we played better Patriot football. So, yeah. So I couldn't tell you what that means, but I know that the guys in my room are held to a standard every single day, and when it's not right, they hear about it. When you do things the right way, right, you don't hear me as much. So, yeah, they went out and played a really good game, and say what you want. Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Famer. They did a good job of keeping him in the pocket and for the most part handling the run. So,
sorry, Jacqueline Roy seems like a nice find for you guys. Just what have you seen from Jacqueline this year, and what has he brought to your team?
yeah, just young, still developing, has upside and potential, and like anything and anybody, when he does it the way he's supposed to do it, it looks really good. When he doesn't, we're still developing, and so he's got a chance to do some good things if he continues to put forth the effort and preparation and being good in fundamentals, and that's on me too. So we work every day to do that. But happy to have him, and he's doing good things for us. So
just going back to the run defense, a couple of players said that you guys kind of went back to basics a little bit with the run defense last week. Is that how you guys see it as coaches? Did you guys do anything different schematically?
yeah, like I just said with the comment there, at the end of the day, doesn't matter what defense is called. Me as a man, I have to do my job, and me as a player, I have to do my job. And if I do my job at a high level, and then the other 10 guys do their job, doesn't matter what you call. All right. So at the end of the day, the guys have played better, and ultimately the last 3 weeks, they've really played well and have gotten better each week. All right. And so you're still playing with some new guys that have just got here. And that'll never be an excuse, because if you're on the field, you have to do your job. And I think guys have done their job better and did a good job last week. So
I understand part of this might be a Drew question, so forgive it if I'm kind of overstepping here a little bit, but the idea of your pass rush has looked a lot different now than maybe it was at the start of camp. Judon gone, Barmore not available, you trade Josh. How do you think the guys who have remained and been consistent, I'm thinking guys like Keon, just consistently in the lineup for you guys on a regular basis, how do you think that group has done?
ultimately, I'm going to keep going back to it. We ask these guys to do certain things, part of the game plan. And the guys that we have right now are doing exactly what we're asking them to do. They're affecting the quarterback, and keeping athletic quarterbacks in the pocket and things of that nature. So we have what we have, and happy with what we have, and we find the ways to get it done with the guys that we have. So, doing a good job.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Just one for me. I know obviously you guys are preparing for every situation every week, but
Mm-hmm.
how unique is a week like this where there maybe is some uncertainty on the other side about who the quarterback's going to be, and the two options are two stylistically different players?
Yeah, at the end of the day, we're looking at it as same. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. This is their system. This is what they do. They got good skill. They got good backs. Quarterbacks do a good job of getting the ball out, and they have a good O-line. So, like, to me, it doesn't matter. I don't look at it that way. We're preparing for the Titans, the offense. So, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, yep.
First, the challenge of how it's been making up for the loss of Bedlam.
Obviously, he's a great player, great leader for us. It's been a collaborative effort, I would say, on defense. Front seven and in the back end. Guys stepping up, being in roles that they weren't necessarily in the beginning. Similar to the next man mentality. But guys are pulling through. Guys are pushing to be leaders, doing the right things. Trying to do the right things, being accountable to each other. And at the same time, it's kind of what we kind of preaching what we want.
Did you see, obviously, statistically, there was progress in stopping the run, but I'm guessing you're still not quite where you want to be.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, that's kind of the goal of, I feel like, any defense is to be able to stop the run and make offenses one dimensional. Makes things easier for us, makes it easier for the guys on the field. So anytime that we can get out there and we can play good fundamental defense, which we've done a better job with that last week. But still not where we want to be, not satisfied. And that's not just from a coaching perspective. The players have that same perspective as well.
Dante, I don't know if Karen asked you this just before I walked in, but as far as the Jacksonville game to the Jets game, the two different ones, did you guys change a lot with the way you were stopping the run, or did guys just play better?
I think guys, we coached. I think we coached better. I think guys played better. I think it's just guys getting comfortable with what we're doing and what we're asking. Clear difference in the fundamentals that we're doing. It's not always about a technique or a scheme type of thing. Whether you have good fundamentals, it sets you up to be in a better position to make better plays and put our defense in better position. So I would just say just continuing to harp on the fundamentals as we go forward, whether it's block destruction, getting off blocks, getting to blocks, IDM blocks, getting all 11 guys to the ball carrier. Good things happen when there's more, multiple defenders around the ball.
And then you did a whole lot of winning when you were in this building playing. How does a win feel for this group now that you're coaching them?
It feels great. Again, man, each week, whether it's week 1, week 14, whatever it is, like we're constantly preaching, fundamentals, win, lose, or draw. And, that's been something that, these guys have really been working on each week, and it feels good for those guys to come out, and get a reward off of all the hard work. I mean, practice has been great. Everything that you asked for as far as fundamentals, great energy, great effort, and it just feels good to go out and get a win. When it counts, not just through the week.
8 weeks in, how has the coaching experience been for you? I know it's something new. I don't think you've coached before, but tell us what that's been like.
It's been great. First year, just continue to want to improve. Give my guys whatever they need. Again, I've said it before, whether it's cut ups, write ups, extra film time, whatever it is. But at the same time, earning and understanding what it is to be a coach. There's a lot of small things that I'm able to pick up. Whether it's from Mayo, DC, J-Mo, Mike. I mean, Mike, Drew. Everybody in that defensive staff, but not just those guys. Ben McAdoo, AVP. A lot of guys who've had a lot of experience in the league. Always just trying to lean and continue. Like when I came into the league, I was a sponge to Mayo and Dev and Slate and Vince. Now I got a different form of sponge, but still wanting to learn and wanting to gain that extra knowledge.
Anything that you encountered that you didn't expect, or any kind of curveballs?
I mean, not ever doing anything the first time. You know, I learned a long time ago to not necessarily have expectations on that kind of thing, and just kind of attack everything kind of head on. And that's what I've been doing. You know, hopefully, you know, doing a decent enough job. But obviously, I mean, as long as my guys, you know, continue to go out, play hard, get better, improve each day, each week. You know, that's really kind of, you know, my mindset, my focus, and it's, you know, really what I look for as far as success goes.
Dante, Christian Ellis credited you for telling him to kind of get out of his own head, and obviously he played pretty well last Sunday. Is there anything between his starting debut against Jacksonville to what happened last weekend versus the Jets that you said or did differently with him?
No, I mean, you know, I'd love to take credit for that, and appreciate that from Ellis. But you know, since day one, since I've gotten here, Ellis has been one of the guys who always has been, you know, wanting to know exactly, you know, where to be and the correct corrections, where everybody's supposed to be. And you know, he's done a good job as far as being able to digest a lot of stuff that the stuff's been kind of thrown on his plate. Again, go back to your question, Karen, about, you know, guys stepping in for bit. You know, Ellis has been able to do that for us, whether it's been a little on early down or on third down, but he's done a great job as far as accepting that and then just kind of running with it. I mean, he's doing everything right. He's getting to the ball. He's getting off blocks. He's good in coverage. You know, he's kind of, you know, the linebacker in the linebacker room, you know, fitting that mold as far as being fast, being physical, being aggressive, and being smart. So everything Ellis is doing, man, I'd love to take credit for it, but he's been doing it a long time, and just trying to get him to slow down a little bit.
What are you proudest of so far? It's only mid-season. I know there's a long way to go, but just of yourself, the work that you've done, the coaching you've done so far.
I mean, again, man, I really only kind of see that as like each week I've got a great group in the linebackers, Ellis, Jelani, Raekwon, Joe Giles, Curtis. Hopefully I'm not missing anybody out, but those guys come in, you know, regardless of the record, each day, each week. And again, I mentioned it earlier, like they come in and they work hard. They bust, you know, they bust their tails each day through the week. You know, game day might not always get the result we want, but they always come in ready to learn, ready to get the corrections, and again, man, just ready to go out each week and like pour everything they have into it. And whenever you got guys like that in your room, I mean, it's kind of, I mean, what do I need to be, you know, upset or sad about? They take coaching well, don't have to, you know, yell or do all that extra stuff. I mean, they're very attentive and they want to get better. So you got a room like that wants to get better, and this coachable, it makes it really easy.
Do you feel frustrated in the same way you did as a player when things don't go well? Or is it different now, you know, being a coach?
I think just as a fan or anybody else who's put time and effort in anything, you want to see things go your way. Again, but a couple years ago, got big in the Stoic philosophy with and my buddy Ron Holiday, and you know, at the end of the day, it's really about control what you can control, and a lot of that stuff is really just your mindset and your attitude, and you know, whatever it is, you know, just, you know, don't get a call that you want to get called, you know, a big play pops out, like you can't dwell on all of that stuff all at one time. Just kind of put that play behind you and then, you know, get those corrections and move forward.
Do you impart that to the players?
Say
Do
it
you
one more time.
impart that wisdom to the players?
Absolutely. I mean, again, playing linebacker, especially in this defense, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's on your plate, whether it's in the run game or in the pass game, front adjustments, checks, whatever. You look at it like that, shit, it is overwhelming. It is a lot, but at the same time, you got to take, we say it all the time, you know, you take one snap at a time, one play at a time. So having that, and again, being able to control what you can control, accepting what it is, you know, whether you messed up or not. Well, you know when you messed up, having that accountability to admit that, come in, get the coaching, and just do better. And all those guys do it, whether I'm preaching it or not. You know, again, that's just part of growth and wanting to be better.
That connection with Ryan,
Last question.
Can you describe when and how that happened? And when you're with Ryan Holiday, you're talking about connecting with him. When and how did that happen? And when did you realize a lot of that stuff was here, like before, you know, Bill was saying and building the program on?
Yeah. So it might have been like 4 or 5 years ago that I probably dove into it. You know, Ryan's a good friend of mine now. We shoot texts all the time. He's got a place down at the beach, and when I was retired, we bumped into each other, hung out with the families and stuff. But he's a great dude just to bounce, just overall wisdom and knowledge off of, and I greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, was it kind of like, oh, I've heard this before, at least from Bill? Because there's a lot of football coaches that are big stoics, whether they know it or not.
No, absolutely.
Even Nick,
I think even in one of the books, I can't remember which one, but he drops, kind of talks about Bill a little bit as far as that goes. But yeah, you can kind of, even before I knew what it was, I think you guys kind of gave Bill the tag of the stoic look or whatever. So yeah, used to hearing it a little bit.
Cool. What beach was that?
I wouldn't get into all that. It's kind of my
general state or area, or
no, I'm good.
There's no beaches in Tennessee.
No, no beaches in Tennessee. No beaches in Tennessee.
Awesome.
All right,
Appreciate you.
No problem. All right, folks.
How much you think it
Take
can?
a final question.
How much you think it can help a guy like that when he first joins the team to look around and see some of the other undrafted players have so much success?
Yeah, it's helpful. And for a lot of these guys, you emphasize the importance of special teams. Like, not everyone is going to be able to play defense the first game of the season as a rookie or whatever, right? Like, you're building that up, and for some it's a bit of a shock because they've been probably the best player on defense or one of the best players on defense for a lot of the teams they've played ever since they've played football. So, but like Dell has played a lot more on special teams. Great, way to get on the field and make it to the game and be there. And for the young players, that's extremely important. And that's how a guy like John Jones really got started. And now he's, such a good corner for us, and a good special teams player. But that, just getting to the game is half the battle. And if you can do that, then you can keep improving in the rest of the phases and, see where you end up. So he's done a good job and had a good mentality. And I enjoy working with him and, just keep stacking day by day, keep getting better.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.